Welcome back. This is Sachin again. And actually, a few days back, I was planning to run Kafka multi-node cluster in my local environment for some development perspective. And that's where like I exploring Kubernetes, and I found like there's very less material somebody covered how to actually do it. So that's where like I thought of once I finish it, why don't create a video around that. That's what we're gonna see today. I'll be committing some code which will help you guys to basically, run very quickly in your local environment. As like all other videos, I will be covering like do it yourself kind of thing, which is pretty much you check out the code base and execute the script. The same we are gonna cover in this video, and you'll be all up and running. So let's get it started. Let me share my screen. All right. So basically, this is the project. I'm gonna commit it. I'll share the link in the YouTube. But basically, let's focus on Kafka. Let me quickly cover the structure of that. So it has various different components, and the idea is to basically run these components, whatever flavor you want. What I mean by flavor is like, let's say, I want to run ZooKeeper as a multi-node cluster. It takes a little time to get it started because it'll start 3 nodes. It'll take some time, but if you don't have such requirements, just quickly want to do something in ZooKeeper, they want it up and running, 1 node is also fine. So basically, you have a freedom to basically start in a single node or a multi-node cluster. Similarly goes with Kafka as well. Hopefully, I will include more in future. So instead of going through all of them, let's quickly cover one, and let me cover ZooKeeper. That should be straightforward. So basically, ZooKeeper Micro I'm gonna cover, which is like 1 node cluster, and ZKML, which contains 3 node. I'll just quickly show the differences as well. So by the way, I assume everybody's aware about the Kubernetes. If not, I'm gonna include one more video link with this video, which basically covers how to install Minikube and some of the VM solution. Basically, I have used Oracle VirtualBox to basically install a Minikube on top of it, so you can run a Minikube cluster. So I assume that you guys already have it. If not, pause this video here itself, watch that, get it installed, and once you're comfortable, get back and watch it again. All right. So basically, the idea is to basically start 1 node ZooKeeper cluster, and that's what this YAML file is going to be used. It's pretty straightforward. This is a ZooKeeper service with server and redirection port with these values, and then normal client ZooKeeper service with port 2181. And basically, I'm using stateful set. Why stateful set, not deployment? Because my plan is, let's say, if ZooKeeper crashes for some reason, my pod, then it should come back and it should not lose the data which you have already saved. So the rest of the settings are pretty straightforward, not spending too much of time around the configurations. I'm pretty sure you can find it over net, the different usages of it, assuming that you're familiar with Kubernetes, but because it took a little time to basically get these configurations, so I want to compile and put in one place. All right, so it's pretty much using Google Kubernetes ZooKeeper image and exposing these ports and pretty much executing these commands with some default values. So ZooKeeper is up and running. Using this command to basically check the readiness probe and liveness probe, so which means ZooKeeper is alive. The Kubernetes will understand with these values. And the most important part, I would say, is the volume claim template. So because it's a stateful set, and with this combination, all the data will be stored as a ref to data dir. So this is a volume claim. Internally, it will create a persistent volume, and that is referred in var like ZooKeeper. So which means if your pod crashes, at least you don't lose the data, because you're ensured that the persistent volume has your data. I'll be showing that. So this is one. Now this ZKML, it is pretty much exactly the same, except a very minor change like um, the application factor is 3, so which means it will start ZooKeeper -0, -1, and -2. If you guys are familiar with stateful set, you know that it remembers that index or ordinal. And how I'm gonna take a decision that which to execute. So I'm gonna include this run.sh as well, which has some options. So let me run it and quickly show it to you. So basically, if you execute this, I've checked out this code, and if you just say -h for help, and this will tell that what options you can include. So -c is basically if you want to run in a clustered mode. So what does that mean is you don't have to understand all the scripts, just see the options, how to trace through. Basically, if you pass a -c option, this flag becomes true, which is by default false. And that means if this becomes true, then it will apply the zk.yaml, where it is an application factor of 3 instead of 1. If you don't pass that, the default will fall back to micro. That's pretty straightforward. Similarly, another option is for the watch. Basically, I generally prefer when I am executing some command. After that, I want to tap and see um, how is the service going on, how is the parts and basically deployment. So for that, I include a small script. So main scripts are kept somewhere here. Scripts, yes, watch scripts, which actually you pass any of the components, ZooKeeper or Postgres or Kafka, and then it will execute this command every given interval. If you don't pass an interval, it will have some default value, I believe. All right. Okay, so this watch script is mine. It may not work in your case, but nevertheless, actually you can copy paste this command and see the status. All right, if time permits, I will try to include that script as well over here. But watch me break, because it does not come by default with Mac, I believe. All right. So another thing. So let's say if I'm running my ZooKeeper, there are a few things like I want to give a control. What node my service should run. If you are familiar with Kubernetes, you know the limited ports are only allowed, like 30,000 to some 32,000, some change only ports are allowed. So which port you want to run your ZooKeeper, actually you can optionally pass it. If you okay with 30,003, that should also be fine. Nevertheless, so this is like straightforward. Now I'm gonna do is I will execute this in a cluster environment. So I will provide a -c option. My ZooKeeper is not running previously, but if I provide my -f option, it will basically delete whatever is existing running and then recreate new ones. So I'm gonna put -f and -w for watch, which right now, my apologies, watch may not work because this watch is my local script, but in future I'm gonna include it. But nevertheless, you can always take this command and manually execute that. All right, so let's put it over here. This will slowly start a 3-node cluster. Yeah, one important thing. So whatever variables, like in case of ZooKeeper, what node, like what port I want to run my ZooKeeper. Similarly for Kafka, there could be some more variables, because I'll be running 3 brokers. I'll cover it real quick, but this is an environment variable. Now, we know that YAML file, we cannot change the Cubectl command, or like, we cannot replace its value at the time of executing the command. So I'm just doing a small hack. I mean, we can call it. I've created my own Cubectl advanced file, and what it does, it just cats the actual file, whatever you pass it, and then evaluate it, which means if the ZooKeeper file, this is the one I'm going to execute, and it has this variable, and if you have passed, if this variable, the same variable is present in your environment, it will actually replace, because that's what evaluate is going to do, and this content is going to be applied. So just a small thing to remember. All right, let's see my ZooKeeper node, how it is coming. I still see my persistent volume claim and persistent volume, of course, internally, because everything I'm selecting by app equal to ZooKeeper. My PVC has been created, which means if my container crash, still I will not lose my data. And my first pod is still coming up. Okay, Cubectl get pods, in fact get all hyphen get pods hyphen L app Kafka. So of course there is no Kafka I have deployed yet. Let's wait for a couple of seconds till my ZooKeeper cluster is up and running. Okay, in the meantime, my Minikube IP, this is 143. If I say VI private etc hosts, or still it is 142, so I'm gonna adjust it. This is 143. Okay. Oh, it seems to be something interesting. Cubectl describe. Try to continue. Okay. I think it took some time to pull the image because I created a fresh Minikube instance. Okay, let me put the logs. Okay, by the way, I've given an alias K as a Cubectl, so that's why I'm just using K instead of Cubectl. Okay, I think my first container has come now. It is starting the second one and the third one. So meanwhile, it gets started. Let's quickly cover the Kafka. So again, it's the same thing. So I'm planning to run a 3-node Kafka cluster. If you want, just don't provide the -c option, which is run as cluster. So by default, it is false. And if you give -c options, this will make the cluster as true. And if this run as cluster is true, which means it will apply the Kafka.yaml file instead of Kafka single node YAML file. And let's quickly see the difference. It's the same thing. Again, you just start a service with Kafka 0 and with one stateful set. Again, I have given the volume here. So every pod will get 1 GB persistent store. So which means if your pod crashes, still you won't lose the data. And we are gonna quickly, we're gonna see that soon. These are some configurations. I'm using Bitnami Kafka image. And if you pass this information, then it will run that. This advertise listener is an important service, important environment variable, because that's where your client is going to see, and after handshake it is going to connect to that host and port. So make sure that your Minikube IP, which I'm gonna pass from this script, there should be some Minikube IP, which I execute by calling Minikube IP and then take the latest value, export it. So which means I have a latest and greatest value of this Minikube, which gets replaced over here because of Cubectl advanced file. All right. I think my ZooKeeper cluster is up. I have a ZooKeeper client in my local. So I'll just give Minikube via Minikube. This is my machine name. You have already seen I've already given a host file entry via Minikube, which means this points to my correct IP address, which is given by Minikube IP. All right, so ZK, so that way I don't have to give my IP address this time. I just make sure my host file is correct, and I can always work with VM Minikube. All right, so let me get connected because why 30,003? Because that's what my ZooKeeper services node port is running. And if you don't like 30,003 for whatever be the reason, feel free to go and change. this value over here. Perfect. So this is now there. If you say ls / you see your one node is coming. Okay, now let's run Kafka. So we have already seen Kafka configuration. So instead of Kafka, I mean, I would be glad if somebody tell me a better way, but I just thought to just repeat it 3 times because I was not able to find a solution how to, portrait replication factor 3 and it out of the box work. I faced some problem with this configurations because it was complaining that it has to be changed for all the 3 brokers. It cannot be same. But nevertheless, this is repeated thrice. So this is my Kafka 0 service, Kafka 1 service, and Kafka 2 service. And they are connected with 3 stateful sets with naming with Kafka D0. Initially, I was trying with deployment. So apologize for that, for the name, but Kafka D0, D1, and D2 is the 3 stateful sets running 1 pod each. And as usual, all of them, it is connected with 1 persistent volume and persistent volume claim. And I'm giving a logical name as Kafka data. And wherever it contains the data as per the image, that reference is there, which means you will not lose the data even if the pod crashes. So let's quickly apply that as well. I'm gonna take this, push it over here, and like last time, I want to run it as a cluster. So that's why -C option. If you want to run just very quick, 1 node, just omit that option. I want to clean anything which is previously, it is not there, it's still good to give F, and I want to watch my cluster. So when I say watch, which means you have already seen this script. Where is my watch? Yes. So basically, app equal to whatever Kafka, basically in this case, it passes Kafka, and because everywhere I have given the application name app is this way just selects those components. Let's quickly run that. Okay, so it asks my password. If you have seen my previous video on my infra, basically there's only one thing I'm gonna do here in these scripts. There is one script actually I'm making use of it, and that is refresh Minikube IP, because every time I restart my Minikube, its IP gets changed, basically increases by 1, and I need my latest Minikube IP. So what this function does is it takes the latest Minikube IP and updates my host file. If you do not want, it works for Mac, but there's no support as such for other OS like Windows or Linux. So for that, if it complains, you just comment that part and manually update your IP address. So end of the day, it just boils down that your Minikube IP. This is the script which was getting called. That's why it was asking for a sudo password. It ensures your Minikube IP is correctly updated, because when you run your Kafka YAML, this value should be latest. Okay. So my Kafka is coming up. I see all the containers are yet to be created. I think it will be pulling the image. Let's quickly see the logs or describe this guy. Okay, yeah. So give it a few seconds. Okay. Okay. One more important thing, because it is my dev work, and every time I want to clean all my cluster and restart once again, and if it connects to the same ZooKeeper instance, there is some problem. And that's where every time a fresh Kafka I run, I just create random node and export into ZK node. And this is I have given over here. So every time it connects with the same ZooKeeper instance, but with a new node. If you don't want that, just feel free to modify this and remove that. But I think this is important for your dev work, where you don't want to do anything, just clean off everything and restart once again. It will not give any problem, because a fresh Kafka cluster will be created and it will connect to a separate node without any previous data. All right. So I think it should be. So it is pulling that image. Okay. So meanwhile it is pulling that image. Let me go to my second terminal and okay, let me get my producer command from the history. Consumer. Let's wait for still pulling it image. Okay, so there is ZooKeeper. I just want to show you once the Kafka cluster is up, this will connect to ZooKeeper and many objects or directory paths it will create. Pause. Okay, seems this is getting created. Remember this and underscore the timestamp. This is what I have given over here, and underscore the timestamp with the ZooKeeper node. So I think Kafka is coming up and it's trying to connect with ZooKeeper, and that's where it creates this node over here. Perfect. So I see Kafka is in running state. My ZooKeeper 3-node cluster is running. My Kafka 3-node cluster is running. If I see ls, my node is getting created. Let's see what is inside this node. I'm gonna ls inside that one, and I see a lot many things. Broker. So let me go inside the brokers. Slash brokers. It has IDs and topics. So let's go to IDs. I see that 101, 1001, 002, and 003 has been created. Seems my cluster is up and running. Perfect. So let's create my test topic. Okay, I've connected to producer. Why 30092? Why 30092? Because that's where my node port 0, the default value is 30092, 93, and 94, and the same can be validated here. So this is Kafka. These are my Kafka 012 services, and the node port is 30092, 93, and 94. All right. So because it's a cluster, you can connect any of the brokers, and it will guarantee all of them. It will resolve all the remaining one. So just connect to any of the port. I choose 30092 to connect to, and I'm deliberately not choosing 30092. I'm using some different port. So 94 in this case, the consumer. So hit enter. Okay, because first time connecting, just giving a little complaint. All right, so this is my test message. Welcome. Awesome. 0002, why not 2? Ah, my bad. From beginning, sorry for that. It has to be the same topic. Perfect. Right. This is second. Sorry, not here. What I'm doing. It should be here in the producer. This is second message, and so on. Perfect. So we see the producer I'm connected with 30092, and the consumer I'm connecting with 30092. So even we can change that as well, not a big deal. Even if you say 93 or 94, this should also work. Okay, this is working. So we see the different service, even we are connected, still that works. Now the last thing we claimed about that because we have connected with the processing volume, and we are using stateful sets. So even if the pods crashes, it works. Let's do that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm not just going to crash one pod of ZooKeeper or one of the Kafka. Let's clear off everything. That's more fun. Cubectl, delete. So I'm going to delete ZooKeeper 0, ZooKeeper 1, ZooKeeper 2, and the same I'm going to do with the Kafka. For 0, Kafka 1, and then Kafka over here, and 2. Yes, I hope correct. Let's delete that. We observe this is terminating, and this is also terminating. But because of this stateful set, similar to deployment, it will ensure the new container is provisioned. We see Kafka container is kind of starting 8 seconds, 12 seconds. It's in running state, but I doubt it will be properly running because ZooKeeper is still in terminating state. So this will result into an error in some time when it finds that ZooKeeper is not there, and then we'll try to restart. So let's wait for some time. Hopefully it should not take a long time like past time when it was downloading or pulling that image. All right, I see ZooKeeper, all the containers are gone. The new containers are coming up. The good part of the stateful is that it will maintain the naming convention correct with the proper indices or ordinal 0, 1, and 2, like the last time. So just wait for some time. In the meantime, we see that this guy complains. Of course, there is nothing running, so it will be a problem for a couple of seconds. But what I'm gonna do here is we will connect to the same topic once everything is up for the same like consumer. Yes, they both are connected to the test topic. So once all are in running state, we will try it once again. Running. ZooKeeper is up. Perfect. Let's try to connect with ZooKeeper service. And you see this 620, which was the last time, which means Kafka has yet not fully connected. Okay. It looks like it is connected. Looks like it is connected. Okay. So let's producer and consumer. Perfect. Now we see whatever the previous messages we have put, still the consumer is able to read it, which means even when we deleted all these pods, the persistent volume and persistent volume claim were holding the data, and that's why we have not lost it. And all my other new messages are still being broadcasted from my producer to consumer. All right, thanks a lot. If you like the video, please share with your friends and give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Shine.